Hello everyone, in this short video I want to talk about 3 supplements that can be really helpful when you're struggling with leaky gut that aren't L-glutamine and zinc carnosine. Now those 2 are great options, but I really wanted to bring our awareness to 3 additional products that might be helpful. These are Butyrate, Lactoferrin and serum-derived immunoglobulins. Now starting with Butyrate, Butyrate is a short-chain fatty acid. It's actually produced by certain bacteria that naturally reside within our large intestine. And butyrate is the primary fuel source for colonocytes. Colonocytes are just one of the types of cells that line our colon or large intestine. So the question becomes, how do we produce this butyrate? Now, the simple answer is there are certain types of dietary fiber that we should be eating that are really providing the bacteria food to ferment that creates this short-chain fatty acid called butyrate. The type of fiber in particular that we want to be thinking about is resistant starch. Resistant starch can be found in things like cooked and cooled potatoes and cooked and cooled rice. So making something like a potato salad or having some leftovers that includes rice is an easy way of getting this resistant starch into our diet that is going to help those bacteria that we all have produce butyrate itself. But sometimes that might not be enough. We might want to supplement our diet to support butyrate production and the healing of leaky gut. Now, the next thing we could consider is taking a prebiotic that will support butyrate production. The most commonly used one is a prebiotic called PHGG. But today I actually want to talk about supplementing butyrate itself, which can be, I think, particularly important if you are struggling with chronic intestinal permeability, aka leaky gut, or if you're struggling with inflammatory bowel disease, because the research shows us that if you take an appropriate dose of butyrate, it can really help put a flare of IBD into remission. Now, there are different forms of butyrate you can supplement. The more traditional ones that you may have heard of are things like sodium butyrate, calcium and magnesium butyrate. My preferred option is actually tributylin, and this can be dosed in the research from anything from 350 milligrams through to 1800 milligrams a day. Butyrate has been shown to have anti-inflammatory, immunomodulatory, antimicrobial, pro-motility properties, meaning it can also potentially be helpful for those struggling with constipation. Next up, we have lactoferrin. Lactoferrin is actually found in breast milk, and we have research now both in infants but also adults showing us that lactoferrin can be incredibly helpful when it comes to numerous elements of gut health. As you can see in this visual, lactoferrin can be used to support the gut microbiome. It has antibacterial and antiviral properties. It does improve barrier function. It's immunomodulatory. It can actually support iron absorption, and it can help with the maturation of cells that are essentially lining the intestine and helping maintain a healthy gut lining. Next up, we have serum-derived immunoglobulins. These have also been shown to be incredibly effective at improving the integrity of the gut lining. One of the mechanisms is thought that it can actually help reduce the negative impact that endotoxins such as LPS have on the integrity of the gut lining. LPS, or endotoxins, are found on the surface of gram-negative bacteria and are able to cross a leaky gut where they essentially trigger an inflammatory process in various types of immune cells. So these are the 3 products that I wanted to raise awareness of when it comes to supporting leaky gut. There is one final important message here, and that is leaky gut is going to always be secondary to something else. And therefore it's incredibly important, let's actually say essential, to try and understand what caused or is causing your intestinal permeability. Now, there are some basic things that for some people might be relevant. Excessive intake of alcohol, the use of antibiotics or non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, but also things like chronic or acute stress, poor diet over a significant period of time can all contribute to this. Another less well-known cause of chronic intestinal permeability is something we've actually touched on today, and that is mitochondrial dysfunction. Research is showing us that mitochondrial dysfunction in the colonocytes, remember these are cells that use butyrate as a food source, can actually contribute to both an imbalance in the microbiome that also leads to leaky gut. So there is a working theory in the research that potentially supplementing mitochondrial focused nutrients like L-carnitine, like CoQ10, may actually be helpful for a subset of people with chronic intestinal permeability. I'm going to be doing a separate video specifically on how mitochondrial dysfunction might be a driver of leaky gut dysbiosis and maybe even inflammatory bowel disease very soon. So stay tuned for that video. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel and you'll be notified when that comes out. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to leave a little comment below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And as I say, there are links to all of the different research and products that I've mentioned.